Hello, in this video I will show you how to use Pear Deck to make your Google Slides interactive. I'll show you how to use the pre-made Pear Deck templates, how to add your own unique questions, and even how to add prompts on the fly while in presentation mode. But before we dive in, I want to quickly explain the goal and methods of creating a Pear Deck lesson. The goal is to take a Google Slides presentation and make it interactive using the Pear Deck tools so that students can engage in your lesson, provide live feedback, and enable you to assess and reteach in real time. There are a few ways to do this. You can use an existing Google Slides presentation and add questions prior to the live lesson. You can create a new Google Slides presentation with questions prior to the live lesson. Or you can launch on-the-fly prompts while presenting the live lesson. You can also upload an existing PowerPoint to your Google Drive and convert it to a slides presentation and then use Pear Deck from there. Once you've made your slides interactive, for step 2 you will create a Schoology Pear Deck assignment and link your slides presentation there. For step 3 you will launch the Pear Deck lesson via the Schoology assignment in either live instructor mode or student pace mode. And then step 4, which is optional, you can grade the assignment, provide feedback, etc. Steps 2, 3, and 4 will be covered in the next 2 videos. Alright, so now that you have that general overview again, let's go ahead and dive into how you actually use the Pear Deck tools. Alright, the first thing you need to do is open a slides presentation. You can use an existing one or you can create a new one from scratch, but chances are you already have a presentation ready to use from previous years, but now you're interested in making it interactive. So for example, let's say I want to use this first day of class presentation and make this one interactive for my students. And by the way, if you would like a copy of this presentation, I will link this in the presentation later. So first, you want to open your Pear Deck add-on, and to do so, you can go to the top. Chances are it'll be right here in the toolbar, or you can click on add-ons and click on Pear Deck from there. Now you do have to install this first, so make sure you watch that video if you do not have Pear Deck installed already. Alright, it will open over here in the right-hand column. Let's quickly familiarize ourselves with this column. At the top, you have the Start Lesson button. You actually will not use this button, but instead you will start the Pear Deck lesson through the actual Schoology assignment itself, and I'll show that in the next video. The next section is the template library, and this is going to be your best friend. What these are, they're pre-made template prompts or questions for you to drag and drop into your presentation, and they're just ready to use, or you can edit them and change them in any way that you would like. They're organized into different categories, so you're going to have your beginning of the lesson type questions, like your bell ringers. There's during the lesson templates, and I'll just open that really quickly to kind of show you what it looks like. So these are questions and prompts that you can use actually during the lesson. There's end of lesson templates, which are like exit slips and how well do you feel about the lesson. And then if you scroll down, there are additional subjects or categories, critical thinking type questions, social emotional learning, so those like wellness check. And then if you scroll down, they actually have like math specific questions and social studies specific questions. And we'll look more at those here in a little bit. There's some ones that I want to highlight and really point out to you, but these are awesome. And they're ready to use. You just literally click on it, it drops it into your presentation, and you're ready to go. And again, you can edit as you see fit. So let's say I want to add an exit slip type of prompt to this presentation. I want to see at the end of the lesson if they thought it was effective, if they have any questions, that kind of stuff. All you would do is simply scroll to the end of your presentation and kind of click there after that last slide there, and then go over here to the template library and choose end of lesson. And then what you'll do is you'll choose a prompt and it automatically adds it. So I'm going to scroll down and do, how well did you like this lesson? All you do is you click on it. It's going to say working. It's going to take just a couple seconds and it's going to pop it right in there. So it is ready to go. You literally do not have to do anything else at this point to set up this question. It is an active question, and when you launch your lesson, either in live or student pace mode over here, it's going to open, and on the student side, they're going to be able to answer that question, and on your side, you're going to be able to see those results. So that's all you have to do. Now, if you wanted to, you could click up here in the text toolbar and reword that question if you wanted. You can change the question entirely. It's however you want to do it. It's completely customizable to your needs. Once a question or prompt is inserted, if you notice that there's a bar down here at the bottom which pops up, this is the bar that shows that it's an interactive slide. Never click on that bar and delete it, because if you do, it removes that interactive capability and it just become a basic slide. So never delete that bar once it's inserted. The speaker notes down here at the bottom, this is an indication of what type of question it is. So this is a temperature check type question, and this is used to get a sense of how the students felt about your lesson. Now notice that you as the teacher can't do anything with this question. There's not a circle to like click and drag to the thumbs up or the thumbs down, because this is like the edit side of the question itself, the setup side. Now, as the student on the student side, once you launch your lesson, they will be able to see a circle and they will be able to drag that circle on their side. And that's the same for like the text type questions or the drawing. You as the teacher can't necessarily like test this out on your side, but the students will be able to do so on their side. So I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. All right, so that is how you add a pre-made prompt. Let's really quickly look at some of the other pre-made prompts. And again, you can edit any of these. So if you like the idea of a prompt, but want to change it to fit your needs, feel free. So these are beginning of the lesson prompts. What did you learn from your homework last night? Think of a question your classmates might have. What do you wonder about this topic? So there's some pre-made beginning the lesson templates. During the lesson, these are great to drop in so you can do quick temp checks, just check their understanding, their learning as you go. Drag your dot to how you're feeling. Are you feeling pretty good? Are you a little confused? Do you need to stop and revisit something? Drag your dot to indicate whether you agree or disagree. So there are different ones, even like a stretch break reminder. Okay. And then back to the end of lesson types, especially like these, like the exit slip type things. Click on how you're feeling about the day's lesson. Pretend like your friend was absent from class and you need to tell them about what you learned today. Draw or type 2 things that you learned in class today. How well did you like the lesson? It's like the one we added earlier. Critical thinking questions. Social emotional learning. So these are stress checks, temp checks for building community and checking in on your students. Those are all great questions and prompts to use. And then I especially like the different subject areas. So for math, there are different types you can use. Solve your problem. So you could type your problem there, and then the students can use the drawing tool to write their answer. And again, you can view that as a class. You can view the answers as a class, or you can view them individually. A graphing question. Science, there's a periodic table, so you can use the drawing features to do a question with that. They can draw an atom, distance versus time graph, and again, you can change these to meet your needs. So if you like the layout or what the question is kind of asking the students to do, you can change the questions and the media elements that they're manipulating in the actual question itself. So you can change all of these to fit your needs. Factor opinion, cause and effect slide. This is the social studies section. So all of these different types of questions or prompts. Here's a website, world languages. Flashcard Factory, it's mentioned here, but that's a great vocabulary tool, and I actually have another tutorial video that shows you how to use Flashcard Factory. If you're interested in that, it is a phenomenal and fun tool. Okay, so honestly, these alone are reason enough to use Pear Deck. They make engagement and real-time assessment so easy and quick, and without a lot of effort and time on your part. You just click on one, it drops it in, and it's ready to go. Aside for the pre-made questions, you can also create your own questions, and here are the options for doing so. So I'm going to scroll down to this section where it says Ask Students a Question. All right, a really quick overview of the types of questions you can use. You can have them answer with text. So you type the question on the slide, and then they will have a prompt to type a word or a paragraph response. Multiple choice, same thing. Pose the question on the slide, and they can choose from different choices that you give them. It's not an auto grade feature, just note that. A number, you have the question on the slide, they type in a number for their response. Website, you provide them with a link and they are directed there. Drawing, they can draw anywhere on the slide, so this is great for math problems, for map quizzes, if you want them to circle the answer in a picture, a variety of different uses. And draggable, again, there are a variety of uses for this, but you give them an icon and they drag that to anywhere on the slide. Great for map quizzes or whatever it might be. So I'm just really quickly going to show you a couple of these using this template that we have here. So I'm going to go down to a slide where we need to add a question. On this question or this slide, I ask, what do you like to do? Describe your hobbies and interests in the space provided. So I would want to add a text question to this. Now to set this up, since this is a unique question that I made, I put my question on the slide itself, and then I'm going to click over here on the text option, and that's going to make the slide interactive where the student can answer that question. And as you can see, I now have an interactive toolbar down here, which shows that the slide is now interactive. And in the speaker notes at the bottom, it tells me what type of question it is. So on the student side, they'll see my question here because it will be, the slide will be forced to their device and will also be in the projector view. And they'll have the option to enter a response there, to actually type a response. Then on the teacher side, if this was live, I will be able to show the answers on the screen or not, and I would be able to pull up on my teacher dashboard, either in a different window or on a different device, each student's individual answers. So I can then call on them and dive deeper if that is desired, or look at the results later so I get to know more about my students. All right, now I'm ready to add another question to another slide. So I'm going to go to another slide, and on this one I want to know what they're going to think about the class. What are they interested and looking forward to? What are they nervous about? So I want to add the ability for them to draw, and with the draw they can also type. So I'm going to go over here to the right hand side. I'm going to click on draw, and it's going to add it to my slide in just a couple seconds. And now it's interactive. So on their side, when the slide pops up, they'll be able to use the drawing tool to answer this question. And of course I'll be able to view individual results and also as a class if I use the projector anonymous view. Let's say I did not actually want to make this a drawing slide. I wanted to use multiple choice instead. I would click on multiple choice. Of course, I would have to change the question type itself, but this is what the multiple choice looks like. You add your answer options here. Again, you would want to type the question on the slide itself and then update the slide. Now, this does not auto grade it for you. This isn't like an auto grade quiz type feature, just as a heads up. All right, so that's just a really quick overview of how to add your own questions to your slides. And again, you can customize those as you see fit. Lastly, a really nice feature in Pear Deck is you can add audio directly to your slides. This is an awesome tool for self-paced lessons where students complete them on their own. And you can basically narrate your entire presentation using this feature. You just record your audio and it uploads it to the slide. And on the student side, all they have to do is click a play button and they can hear your recorded audio for that slide. This is great for days that you're out of class or traditional NTI days, homework, or remediation. It's also an awesome tool for accommodations for students that need audio accommodations, or if you want to give your instructions using the audio tool. All right, so we've covered how to add a pre-made prompt from the template library. And we've also looked at the different types of questions that you can drag into a slide to make a customized question or slide. There's a third way to add questions to your Pear Deck presentation to make it interactive. And this is actually in the middle of a live lesson. So I'm going to walk you through how to add a new prompt on the fly in a live lesson. So I'm in a live lesson right now in Schoology, a live Pear Deck lesson. And I'm going to go down here to my teacher tools, and you want to look for new prompt. So you're going to click on that tool, and here are the pre-made prompts that I can use on the fly. So I have a feeling the students are just not getting it. I'm going to go to this prompt right here. It says drag your dot and how you are feeling. I'm going to click on that and it automatically adds it into my presentation, and this is what my students are actually seeing on their screen now. Now obviously they have the ability to drag the dot to how they're feeling, and I can choose to show responses to show the class how everyone else is feeling. And again, it's anonymous, so they're not going to be called out for not understanding what's going on. And again, there are other different types of prompts as well that you can drop in. Here are just a few of those. Now, it does not add the slide to your actual copy of your presentation. So when I go back to my Google Slides presentation later that I'm using for this live presentation, I'm not going to see that slide as a permanent slide in my presentation then. What it does is it adds it to your this session, the presentation for this session alone. So I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so that is how you add a prompt on the fly. I'm going to end this. I do not want to name that session because we were just showing this as an example. Okay, so that is a general overview of how to add all of the different types of questions, use the template library, how to add a prompt on the fly, how to use the audio tool on different slides. If you have any questions at all about how to use any of those tools, please let me know.